We are back on the TV8 back deck, and joining me now once again is Johnny's Garden. Johnny Rosenfeld joins us for our weekly lesson in plants, and today we're going to be talking about shade gardens.
We are going to be talking about shade gardens, and it's really important in this valley because most of the people plant their gardens when the trees are small, and as the gardens mature and the trees mature, it becomes a shade garden. So if you're thinking, hey, my poppies aren't blooming as well, it's probably because the amount of sunshine they're getting has diminished.
Okay, and good to know, because that's the thing. You plan this garden and you plan your yard around where you want it to grow. But yeah, like you said, things mature, so these are the perfect plants to bring out there. Plus, it's kind of fun to mix it up with the texture and the colors.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about shade plants. As you can see, you can really get some nice textures coming in, and they're not huge on color as sun gardens typically are, but the things you can do with texture and some of the different variegation in the plants is really a unique opportunity that you may not have realized.
I know, and I look at some of these plants and I think, oh wow, it kind of looks more tropical than what you typically find up here in the mountains.
Yeah, exactly. You know, to find something with this big a leaf and this much texture, you know, really brings in a lot of good opportunities into the garden. So it's really fun.
So what's this one called?
This one's called Ligularia Othello, and it's a groundsel, and it gets a real tall spike. The actual plant is gigantic.
Okay.
So I just brought in a few leaves of these plants to give you an idea of what you can do.
And then walk us around through some of these that we have here.
Okay, well, this is a hosta. This is one of the varieties of hosta, and there's several varieties of hosta that work real well for your shade garden.
Different colors.
And yep, different colors and different variegations. And then this is Virginia here. This is a real good plant too, and this flower's pink. And then some of the ground covers, and that's the challenging part about a shade garden, because in the sun gardens you can have a lot of ground covers that grow on walls and that kind of thing. And this lamium here, this is a really good ground cover for shade gardens. So you can use lamium or carpet bugle or vincavine or some of those for shade ground covers.
And how about this one?
You got the fern, Japanese painted fern. There are a few different types of ferns that grow up here in the mountains, as you can see when you look on the forest floor. And this is Japanese painted fern. That's a good one for your garden. And there's another hosta there. That's called Hosta Patriot. And that's got real bright variegation on the margins, so it's a really neat plant, and it really sticks out. And they start out in the pot real small like this, but they'll get leaves, you know, about this size as they mature in about 3 years. So it's really fun.
And then how about this last one?
And then this one's my favorite plant of all. That's the Jack Frost Brunera. It's a false forget-me-not, and it gets a really pretty light blue flower on it.
Okay. And now how do these do with colder temperatures? Are they a little more hardy than some of our the annuals?
Shade tolerant plants typically do pretty well with cooler temperatures because they get the cooler temperatures in the morning.
Yeah.
The softest variety of a shade plant is the bleeding heart, which is a really neat spring bloomer in the shade garden, and that's a little more tender, so that will tend to get zapped first.
Okay, because I know that we're in August and we've had a pretty nice month so far, but this time of year we can really see those temperatures drop overnight.
Yeah, we're starting to think about fall already. I can't believe it, but a lot of good fall bloomers in the garden coming up here. We'll talk about those maybe next week, but it's really a nice time of year because your garden should be getting real close to maturity, and it's really fun.
Okay, yeah, great time to get out there and enjoy it as well. Johnny, if we want to call you?
827-9200.
All right, you can also find him on the web. We've got him at johniesgarden.com for more details. We'll be back with more Good Morning Vail. Tracy's coming up next with your weather.